Good morning. This is FSHG, the FSHG event with Linda Green, and we are presenting a conversation with Nick and friends today. I hope you enjoy. Okay, over to Linda.
Yes.
And Nick, sorry.
Oh yes. Hello and good morning everybody. May I just say we are here today to experience the goodness of mankind, and whatever it will be accepted by all. And I hope that when we are asked questions, we can fully appreciate the energy that is bringing this forward, and whatever there is to be said will be said. So God bless all, and thank you very much indeed.
Okay, so we have a number of questions here, and it doesn't matter if we don't get through them all in the time. The first one is, Nick is Linda's main control guide, his missus as he calls her. Can Nick explain more about how they have worked together over the centuries?
Oh yeah, lovely. Hello.
Hello, Nick.
I'm Nicholas, as you know, coming together here to engage with the process. And well, let's just say that as time goes on, a person is almost like engaged to begin to understand more about themselves. So when a person is engaging with a purpose, it's almost as though it begins to ascend to a different part of the universe. And as that happens, many features of oneself come together and engage in a beginning of a new sort of energy. So that's what happens. So when you do reach out to your soul, you suddenly begin to understand that there are things that when one reaches out to another person, it makes them feel very good about themselves, and you reach out to that purpose and it makes one feel as though there is a need for those two to come together. That's what I'm saying here has occurred throughout the energies that we've worked through here. And Linda, being, as you know, as I call her my missus, is indeed part of what I'd say is the purpose of the universe with myself, because we've engaged in this before through different incarnations. And as one knows, you feel that love that comes in, you energise with it, and you feel that link that is totally at one with itself. And that's really what I'm trying to say, if that is a good enough answer. I hope it is, but if not, then it'll have to be asked again, won't it?
Yeah. The second question. There are other guides who make themselves known. Agnes, Violet, White Cloud, to name a few. Can you explain their roles and expertise? There are also different guides who work with when hands-on healing takes place, e.g. Mr. Loophole, who works with our DNA.
Yes, yeah, that's a good question. Well, many of them are what I call part of this team that have been incarnated throughout. So let's say with Agnes, she is like a mother hen. She is like somebody who works with that energy around the person's soul. So she works with that sort of thing. And also I feel that you could say many of the others too do that, but it's almost as though that is her role. Now Violet is indeed far more, what I'd say, an observer in the sense of the word. And she comes in to bring in the joy and the love and the perhaps a little bit more of a feeling towards oneself of expansion. And yes, there are many, but also, as one says, White Cloud being, what can I call him? He's almost a teacher of the universe. He becomes very magnetised when he reaches out to those souls on the earth, and he's a very wise person indeed and brings a lot of healing energy towards the earth and those on the earth. And as for the Cantonese gentleman who is very often appearing here, Mr. Loophole, he is indeed taking on board that culture of events that took place many, many centuries ago, going into the DNA, going towards what is now, I'd say, the core of that person's soul, and he deals with a lot of that energy that needs to be more reflective towards the human race. So that can help one to withstand a lot more of their own position on the earth plane. Yes. Has that helped?
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yes. Come along then, let's get on with this. I'm jolly happy to be here today. You know, it's Violet.
Hello, Violet.
Is there a question there for me today, my dear? Which I'd like to answer if I may, but whatever.
I'll try this one and see what you say. So,
yes.
FSHG, which is a healing organisation that we belong to, had people working with the universal energy to help heal themselves. Can you advise how we will use energy in the future, and will it be more DNA focused?
Oh, well, that's a very good question indeed. Yes, you see, as one provides oneself with the etheric energy that has its own cause and effect, one would remember too that one is indeed part of a different category at times, when in a way throwing into caution to the wind in a way. But you would say to yourselves, well, let's get on with this, let's progress and get on with this integration that comes about when one is in need of some form of recognition to become a lot more active on other levels, and that is what has to be part of what is now being shown to all, because there are things that are going to be very efficient indeed in the atmospheres, as we call them, because there's many things coming together now that are being introduced throughout different sort of planetary systems that are going to help each one of you to release a different form of evidence into this connection that you all have. So it's almost, yes, everything will be as it is, everything will be released as it needs to be towards all that is engaging here throughout the Earth's planetary system and all that comes with it. So it's going to be quite splendid for you all. You're going to find it at times a little bit daunting, because I realise things have to change and they have to be a certain way. And this often does not always sit well with people, because often people feel there is something wrong if one is feeling a little different. And I hope I can say this to some people who may be listening to this, that there are things, you know, that are going on with you at the moment, all of you, that are remembering what the soul actually is. And if one can only remember this and not feel afraid to connect with this emotional carnage that one needs now to shed, then it will be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, there are many people on earth at different stages of their spiritual growth. Can you confirm that flower remedies will still be required in the future, i.e. bat remedies, homeopathy, phytobiophysics, etc.?
Yeah, it's an interesting one too, isn't it? Well, you know, often the use of them is in a sense in the mind, and often the use of them is sometimes used, yes, of course, for the benefit of mankind. And there are things that will be very much, I would say, presented in this way, lovely, over the years that are coming up, because they're going to be needed again.
Right.
It's almost like you're going to go backwards in a sense to come forwards.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean, lovely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. We all have guides and helpers. How is it determined who and how many? And does it depend on our plan for each incarnation? Or do we accumulate them as we grow spiritually?
Oh yeah, well, you see, what you do is you start to become, in a sense, a placenta as you enter the womb, as you enter the Earth's presentation of what you are, and you begin to assimilate a lot of things that you've actually been with before. So that comes into what I'd say is a status of events that brings you here in the first place, with many people, or positions if you like, that have been around you for many centuries. And it's almost as though it begins to regress in a way towards a different goal. So you pick up things on the way, you open up certain channels on the way, then it suddenly starts to become a lot more open to what you need to work with for your future, and then it brings in other fields of knowledge from other places. So each person that's been around you or is with you will come again in a different way, because you've actually assisted them before. And if it's the right channel to work with, then you're going to find it to be a lot more earthbound in a way. Now, what I say that for is because when you release yourself into the mechanism on earth, you suddenly start to recognise other facilities that you've been part of, and you see that in a way that is maybe not for everyone to notice, but it helps you to go forward in the system with all those you come across. So when you meet up with these people again, you recognise them, and I think you do anyway, don't you? All of you, you see things in people, but it means then that you've actually brought about a change in that person as well as yourself. That's why you recognise them.
Yeah.
So there's a difference in people you actually are with now and who you were with.
Yeah.
Although things are going to be, if you like, a lot more presented throughout the next, I'd say, 18 to 20 years. There's going to be a lot of things occurring through people's own vision that's going to help people to understand a lot more about what they really have adjusted to over the centuries. So you'll see in yourselves people who will come to you, people who will see you and bring about a change in you, are the ones you've actually assisted before. So even when you do look at it in a way that maybe you can fully appreciate as being a blessing to you all, you can say, well, maybe that little part of me is now woken up to what I needed to be, and that person's helped me. Maybe that person's helped others. Maybe they've been with you in other dimensional positions, because, as you know, you come into life through this, I say, vascular system throughout the position you're in, and you open up different places to enhance the senses of all. So many people have been with you before you've incarnated back into the womb on the earth. Many have been coming through you in a way before you entered the womb, and then you enter a different part of yourself when you come into this place on earth, and then you add it up as you go along, more or less, and you notice the change in others around you to see that maybe they've been part of you before on another level. And this is quite a question, because what I'd say is, there's many people on the earth who you've actually encountered before in a position where you've embraced them, but not on the dimension maybe you thought they were. You see, other fields of energy comes in here. It brings about what I'd say is your own sort of experience of lifetimes. You open up to these lifetimes. You see these lifetimes as being something maybe that was perhaps a little bit more than just a love relationship towards someone, and then you realise maybe it was the opposite. Then you have to look back and see that maybe if you were in that position, perhaps it was different than you thought. So where does it really leave you? Well, at the end of the day, you know, it's really just your memory that is building up around you, giving you that information. So at the end of the day, whatever there is there, don't waste time on it, because it doesn't really matter. It means you're in love with that energy loves you, and you can use it at any given moment, as we do here, if you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I say to you, go forth and be blessed with that love, you know what it means. When I say come forward with that love and exercise the truth, you know what it means. That's all anyone needs, really. But often there's these labels on things. And I know you have to have labels at times, everybody. My friends who are hopefully listening to this today anyway, I hope so. I hope someone does.
They do, they will.
Oh, good heavens, yeah. So you see, what we're doing is we're introducing a different vibration throughout, aren't we? Everybody's vibration is introducing a different vibration at every given second. And every time you use that vibration, you're opening up a different part of yourself. So I want all of you to be blessed and feel that love and know that you can be anything you wish to be. There's nothing there to be afraid of. You just have to be yourself and understand that what truth is what you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes impatience comes into humans.
Impatience, yes.
I think that's what I've been learning over the last few years, to be more patient.
Yeah.
And allowing things to happen.
Things people do, because I think you're used to having things done at a certain time, you see, because on the earth there's a time limit.
Yeah.
And you do things at certain times. So it's not surprising, really.
Right, okay.
But you're a good boy anyway, Craig Sutton. We like you. It's all right. And I like your missus.
Yeah, so do I.
She's smashing.
Yeah.
Good job you do, isn't it? It's funny,
Yeah,
isn't
we
it?
have, okay, the next question. How do we recognise when our guides are helping us?
Well, you're part of what the guides are doing with you, so you recognise it in yourself.
Right. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking away to guides, I do look back and go, was I really talking to them? But I do know I do get information, even from you and your team, and times.
Oh, I say you do it's yourself because it is. You're part of a energy level. Can I just come in here for a moment? Miss Agnes, may I just say that as you come into this space in life, you suddenly recognise there's a part of you that is not alone, and you feel that energy coming in as a vibration that works with you. So when you suddenly become more, intimating things to yourself, then you can say to yourself, as I've done that, I can feel there's another place there that maybe is showing me more.
Right, okay.
That's what the feeling is, I would say, isn't it? Really, that it's occupying that space.
When
One's own guides and helpers come in, there's a feeling there. There is another part of you that is perhaps shedding something or building up to something.
Definitely when we're using energy, I've had guides come and help very closely, or within me, and they've gone on with the energy, and I've not really known what they've done.
Well, that is it, my dear, because you won't know what was done, any of you, because it's a part of you that's already been done.
Yeah.
And all that's happening is it's being adjusted.
Right.
Oh yes, there's lots of that going on at the moment, you know.
Yeah.
Oh indeed.
You get that.
Certainly is, dear. So does that help?
I feel, yes it does.
I hope so.
If not, they're going to send some more questions.
Well, yes, of course. It'll be what it is, won't it? Yes, at the end of the day. Oh yes.
Right. We're now moving on to a different type of subject at the moment, which is all around us. Can you give us a perspective of the pandemic that we are going through at the moment?
Yeah. Well, this pandemic is like what I'd say is an interrogation in a way, isn't it? Of service to oneself. What it's doing is it's actually bringing oneself into a different space with a certain part that needs to be maybe recognised. And it's also bringing everything into almost like a feature of recognition about perhaps what really is in life that matters. So each person I feel is affected by this, what you call the pandemic, which is indeed, it is a viral circuit of energy, isn't it, that comes along to sort of bring about changes throughout because it needs to, and it works with other dimensions also. So we would say to you, as you recognise in yourselves that there are things that maybe you do not perhaps want to see, remember that certain things are there for a reason, because if not, then how would things change? How would things begin to really incarnate if there was nothing there to incarnate with?
Yeah.
Because these things you see that appear like this, even like with rubella even, things like that, there's things there that people don't realise. It becomes part of you when you suddenly start to understand it. When you understand it, then it begins to show itself a different service, and it therefore shows itself to be maybe more of a link with other things in the universe. So When you say about what exactly is happening here, would you not say to yourselves, well, what is it that the human race has not seen yet? Is this something that the human race has actually introduced? Has it not brought about maybe some affiliation with other things in the world? Because people now need to perhaps take on board a different feature of themselves and begin to understand a bit more about really what their emotions are all about.
Yeah.
So would you say this is something that is there for everyone? Well, yes. Is it also something that maybe being introduced is perhaps just the obvious, really, to what's needed at this time?
Yes, in the spiritual way, yes.
Yes.
In the earth and what it needs. But there's another question. It says, what caused the virus now?
Yes.
Obviously, sorry, so the next question would be, what caused the virus?
Well, the virus is something I think that has been an intrusive commodity for many centuries. And it builds up as it goes along, and each century comes with something, doesn't it?
Right, okay.
And each century builds up with something else.
That bubonic plague and yeah.
And therefore that's what happens, lovey.
But is that a more natural thing or a planned?
It's a good one, that.
Planned.
Well, everything is almost planned.
Right.
And it depends on the person or persons whether or not it takes action.
And being planned, I mean, is it planned by the universe or is it planned by the humans?
Planned by organisms.
Right. Oh, okay.
That grow.
Right, okay. So it's more natural.
Yes, lovey.
Right, okay.
Consider yourself at home.
I am.
Consider yourself one of the family.
Right.
Isn't it?
Yeah, there's so much we don't know.
Well, that's right, lovey.
Right.
There is. And that's the only way I can put it without being too technical.
Yes, okay.
Because I know I can be a bit technical at times. People think, what on earth is he on about?
Yeah.
But it's because there's so much to say, you see. You have to sort of section it up.
And I think simplicity is the best for all.
It is. It is. Well, I hope I'm being a bit simple.
Well, Johnny Carl.
Simplicity. No, but I hope that it's recognised as being something people can understand.
And it's important that everyone understands.
And if not, then I'll have to come back and do it again,
Yeah.
won't I?
Okay.
Because, you know.
Another question is there another wave of the coronavirus coming?
Well, if you think about certain things that have been, if you like, placed forward and decreased throughout certain pandemics, then you'd see that in a way, if it needs to be again recognised by a certain feature, then it will return. And I would say there will be a return of it, and it will be maybe a little bit more difficult for people to comprehend. I'll put it that way.
Okay,
that's what I would say. Yes.
Yes, I think we have learnt a lot. We have to
Could be a lot worse than people think in many ways. Not only I don't think emotionally, but it perhaps will bring a lot of, can I say, sudden deaths in oneself.
Yeah.
Not only, I don't mean in a physical way. I'm talking about on a level of growth.
Right, okay.
It will bring many, many people down to their knees because they need perhaps to understand a bit more about what there is on the earth that is need to be recognised.
Okay.
Plus other things in their own heresy.
Yes,
it's really quite right, you know.
And is this where like DNA is coming in to, because that holds the history of your lives or
it will be
incarnations.
Yes, exactly that, yes. Just what it is. And there's a lot more to it than you realise.
Right.
A lot more to it that will come about. There'll be places in the world that will realise that maybe, perhaps they should look at things in a different way. Because the scientists I know are well equipped to do this and are beginning to really come out of the closet.
Okay.
So we will see this to be perhaps something at times people would not always perhaps want to see. But remember, all is well really at the end of the day. It depends on the capacity of knowledge that one has and what one deals with at the time and how one deals with it.
Right.
But it's a very interesting topic. And I'm very interested in all that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Mm.
So you might have answered this. So how will the pandemic change our physical lives in the years to come? You've almost answered some of that.
We have. It will make everybody adjust accordingly. It will help people to understand that their features of life are perhaps quite different to what they thought.
Yeah.
It's going to really wake people up in many ways, and it's going to help them to understand a lot more about really what the universe is made up of. Because don't forget, lovey, everyone's connected with every single molecule structure, everywhere.
Yeah.
It's all around you, it's within you, and there's things that maybe now need to be placed forward for people to understand a lot more about, so that they can perhaps feel in their lives that they're actually being themselves. And once people suddenly start to realise these things and begin to practice these things, then it's going to help every single form of evidence in the world to be itself.
Okay. There's a question here that says, once a vaccine is approved by the Earth medical world, will it be safe to take? And that really is general with all vaccines.
Well, quite. Well, my opinion is, how can I put this without going into it too deeply? Things are going to be different anyway.
Yeah.
Things will be there for people to notify, and I think if they feel they need to take this on board, then okay, of course, that's what's needed. But at the end of the day, really, it's not going to do a darn thing.
Right, okay, thanks, that's the answer I wanted. Okay. Right, what will be the best way of dealing with the pandemic moving forward? Work, people, distancing, or is it again fear-based?
Yeah, well, you see, it's like many people are frightened of catching this, and obviously if you're concerned about certain things happening, often it can prove to be just that, because it draws you into a state of negativity.
It draws it to you.
And it makes it a lot worse for you.
Right.
And you can pick it up from your own negativity.
Right. Okay.
Not even from a person.
Okay.
It can be your negativity that draws it in, lovey.
Right.
Right?
Okay. Yes.
That's what I want to say, because it's
That's
true.
That's clear, yeah.
So things will change, things will get even more erratic, and people will find it to be a lot more unsettling. But at the end of the day, if people just recognise there's things there that need to be learned, there's things that need to be worked with, perhaps that will help.
Yeah.
It's not easy, I know, with you lot on the earth, having to go through these funny old things that you often think are perhaps at times not even there.
Yeah.
Oh yes, let me just come in here now. Let me say here that there are a lot of people I realise that are not really fully appreciating the seriousness of this. Almost as though they feel as though this is all made up.
I must admit, I've had that. I've had a bit of that to you know, is it true? Is it, because there's so many fake things going on in the world, you wonder. But with the number of people that have died, yes, it's got to be.
Well, let's just say, I don't think that the nursing staff would make things up
No.
about certain things, and I feel as though there's a lot of people out there now doing their darndest to try and help, and I feel there's a great deal of energy coming round to help these people.
Good.
And it will come about, you know, in the future that things will begin to ascertain a different energy link, and it will help others to identify with their own position.
Good, okay.
So things will start to become a little bit more, I'd say, what can I say, a little bit more lax.
Right.
And it will show in others too. So please just go forward in the way you feel you need to with life. Don't be afraid to do what you need to do, even in the jobs you do. If you do things in the correct manner and are there to do a job, well then so be it. It will be a good thing for the whole country and the world.
Right.
To see this also, because some people I feel are afraid to even go out of their door.
Yes, yeah, there is that, yeah.
But things will get better. They will show a different area of knowledge, and they will show a different service to other people too. And there are a lot of people who I feel have actually change views in many ways,
Yeah.
which is a jolly good thing, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good that's come out of it.
A lot of things have come about that's changed many people's area. It's like ulterior motives, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
People's ulterior motive at time is something I feel that has been a little bit underhand.
Yeah, there's a lot of it.
And this is what's happening now. So people are going to suddenly start to unravel a lot more of their own service to themselves, feel the benefits from other people, and they're going to help people as well a lot more. People are going to be more at one with things.
Okay.
And it's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
So we say, jolly good show.
Okay, we'll come off that subject then. Our next question. Are our guides always other spiritual beings, or can they be aspects of ourselves also,
That's a good
i.e.
one.
when channeling through a medium?
Yeah, well, there's things that do happen in that way. You've got guides that are yourself on a higher level.
Yes.
There are people that come in that have worked with you before on a higher level, and they can see you for who you are, so you feel akin with them. And then you've got those that come in as you go along to meet up with you just to say, I'm here to do a job with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Does that answer that?
We shall see in the future. You'll come back.
What's that, lovey?
If people don't get it, they'll be back with the question. Do the multidimensional beings in the spirit world stay with one set of humans or soul group, or do they go to many? Is there a bond or link with the specific spirit guides, multidimensional beings world, so that we are always meeting them?
Yeah, well, you see, there are multi-dimensional, as you say, processes allocating towards dimensional positions to be part of a setup. So you can say to yourself, if that person is on that wavelength, then you're going to be committed. If the person perhaps isn't on that wavelength, then it'll be a different set of circumstances, and different sort of souls will release themselves into other categories. So therefore there'll be a lot of people who will be joining up when they come back to the earth with many souls that have been around different sort of parts of them, and go forward with them in the way they do, because that is what they've come to the earth to release. And there'll be other souls who will link with other groups who will come forward and understand themselves that they're ready to commit to another higher level of information.
Right.
So forth, it will help in all ways to join up with a soul group perhaps at a later date that they've come across before and shown to be maybe of help